welcome to the Get Stops podcast. It may be cold outside, but it is hot here. Princeton Tigers are 9-1 to start the season. Great episode of the Get Stops podcast coming up. We've got assistant coach Lauren Dillon with us. We've got Toby Nweke coming in a few minutes here. LD, welcome.
Thanks, John. I'm so happy to be here. It's been a year now.
Wow, it has been a year since you've been on the Get Stops podcast. Okay, so 10 games into the season. Where do you feel proudest of where this group is right now?
I would say our connectedness. We'd argue we struggled a little bit last year. There are games where we were neck and neck in the end, and we ended up on the losing side. And I think starting with our Georgia Tech game and proving time and time again, we are in games in the end, and we pull them out. And I would argue that that has everything to do with our connectedness and being able to make plays with each other and for each other, and less so about the talent. The talent is somewhat the same as we had last year. So being able to come together and trust one another to make the plays down the stretch has been something that I've been really, really proud of.
How do you make a team more connected with each other? Like, what are the kinds of things a coach can do to inspire connectivity amongst a group?
Yeah, well, I'll say off the court, that has been all natural. Like, they are so connected. They've been best friends, this big group, since they got here. So that was never the issue, is more trying to build the chemistry on the court. And I think we focus a lot of our film sessions, a lot of our drills have a lot to do with, like, not making the shot or getting the charge in the end. It has everything to do with, like, the domino effects leading up to that, whether it's, like, the pass to the shot has been really important to emphasize.
Process over the specific result.
Right. And how, like, I can impact winning even if I'm not shooting the basketball, because that screen that led to a pop, that led to a drive, is equally as important as that end result that you see on the scoreboard.
Right.
So focusing more on the little plays and how those make a huge impact.
So this team, in comparison to a year ago, has sort of, for me, two big picture differences, right? It's the lack of a 6'4" post player, which was central to the offense the last 2-3 years. And just the overall depth in the program, right? I mean, you have 11 on the roster. Christina Perella's been sidelined with an injury this year. So I guess my question is sort of, how have you guys built such a high quality and efficient offense with this group? What are the kinds of things you have been focused on to try to build with this group?
Yeah, I think this summer it was putting our heads together and revamping what we can do based on what we have. And we don't have Parker Hill anymore. We don't have our 6'2", 6'1" post players that came off the bench, but we have Fadima Tall standing at a tall 6'1". We have Taylor Charles and Emily Edie, who are around that size too, and they're great perimeter players. They're great shooters, and that's different than what we've had in the past. So how can we get them shots on the outside? And that isn't posting up on the block all the time. Are they great in there too? Absolutely. But playing into, like, the versatility of who we are as a team. A lot of our offense, we call it positionless. Like, our players can be in different spots on the floor, and they all know what they're doing. Are they all doing the same things? No, but they're playing within their skill set. And I think that's been a big leap for us too, just our players understanding what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, and how can I best set up this particular teammate within this play, this set. So it was a lot of brainstorming in the off season, and then putting it to work this preseason.
Positionless basketball is a trend of the last, let's say, 15 years.
Yeah.
Who did you draw some inspiration from to try to build your program for this year?
We went to we watched a lot of WNBA this summer. We were actually lucky enough to sit in on a Liberty practice a few months back in the summer. One of Coach Berby's best friends, Sonia Rahman, who happens to be a Tufts alum, it was one of the assistants there. So we got to actually sit courtside, and not only knowing, the plays that they run by watching them play from the outside, but sitting in practice and seeing how they rep those things. And we've learned that, like, our players are very talented. Like, they don't need much. Simplicity is key. And we saw, Sabrina and Stewie and all these players, like, that's not exactly who we have, but
oh, you mean you don't have, like, a 6'1" point guard?
Yeah. No, Ashley isn't quite that tall, but She's super talented as the rest of them are. So just putting them in spots to do what they do is really what we focused on.
And that seems like one of the highlights of the summer, right? When I get to this time of year, end of a calendar year, thinking back on some of the best moments of the year, tell me about some of the best moments you're taking away from Princeton basketball in 2025.
Good question. I have to just shout out, and I know we've talked about it a lot, but that trip to Georgia Tech, I think from the outside was like, oh my God, that must have been so hard. Like, we were getting texts like, are you guys okay?
For people that don't know, what is the full story here?
So our first game of the season was at Georgia Tech. It was Olivia Hutcherson's home game. So there was a lot of excitement around it. Our first game was later than a lot of other programs. So we were just like building up that excitement, ready to go. We get to the airport, Newark Airport, like 2 hours early, as our director of ops likes for us to do, Lily Perro. And we didn't end up getting on the plane to actually take off until like 12 hours later. So we were on the plane for 3 hours, off the plane, on the plane for 3 hours, back in the terminal. So we actually didn't end up getting to our hotel until about like 2:33 a.m.
And you're talking about playing 1 o'clock in the afternoon
the next day. Yeah. So canceled shoot around, show up to the gym a little bit early, and we actually walked to the gym just to like I don't know, get the sea legs off. And yeah, we ended up playing. We went down early. It was one of those games where we didn't quite get off the bus, or the plane, that is, but we ended up pulling out a really tough game versus a really tough opponent. And yes, the win was amazing, but it was more so like that whole 24-hour experience of like, this team doesn't care. They want to play the game no matter what. They don't care about the excuses. We actually had fun in the airport, believe it or not. Yeah, they were making TikToks. We were having breakfast, lunch, and dinner as a team. We were making the most of it. And I think in that moment, we were like, this team is going to be special. Like, they are just grateful to be here. They definitely love each other. There's that connectedness off the court, and then we saw it come to fruition on the court too.
I know you spend a lot of time doing player development, and you're focused mostly on the guards. What's the player development goal you're most proud of accomplishing in 2025?
Oh my God. I could point to all of them. Because they've all just taken such leap and bounds. I'll just run through a few of them, and I definitely can't take all the credit or any of the credit really for this, but one of our assistants, Jordan Edwards, has worked with Toby Nweke, film sessions on the court, off the court, trying to build up her skill set and her confidence. And just off the top of my head, last night, we found out that Toby hit 11 threes in the entire season last year, and she's already at 11 now. And Toby was always a great shooter, but being able to get game-like reps and just building confidence, that's something that as a staff, I think we're really proud of, and shout out Jordan for spending a lot of time with her. Obviously, just seeing Maddie get back on the court, and that had a lot to do with just her and getting in the reps this summer and working harder than I've ever seen anybody work from the outside. She was in the weight room with our strength and conditioning coaches, with our athletic trainer, getting in the shots. Like, she did anything possible to get back to be able to play like our first game. Like, we didn't anticipate that.
It is a really incredible recovery story, and it speaks some to modern medicine, right? Because she did the ACL, would have been, I guess, a week before Thanksgiving in 2024, and it looks like she hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
And she's on the court again within a year. Like, pretty incredible run right there for Madison.
It's been incredible, and if you ask her, she's like, I'm not as good as I was, and we're like, Maddie, you're as good as you were like now. You can't be peaking too early.
Just as an example, we were talking to Tony Bozzella, head coach at Seton Hall, before that game, and he's like, I'm watching Madison St. Rose, and I'm like, she's an all Big East caliber player, and if you didn't directly know that she tore her ACL within a year and you were watching her tape this year, you're saying to yourself, nothing happened.
Yep. She took like the Paige Beckers approach. Like, she isn't exactly the same as she was. She's maybe not quite as explosive, but like, she's faster and stronger now. So
Yeah.
the way that she plays is slightly different, but like I'd argue she's on her way to being better than who she was prior to the injury. And again, that's not necessarily player development, but just she has it within her to just be the best that she can possibly be, no matter what happened to her.
I'm glad you bring up Toby because we are chatting with her on
Yeah.
this episode of the Get Stops podcast. When did you first meet Toby?
Oh my gosh.
How old was she?
She probably like 11 or 12, like so young, because all the Nwekes are young for their grades. So we met Chet. Chet was in that first year, our first freshman, when we first got here. So we met Toby so many years ago, and just even when we think about like when we first met her, she like wasn't even in recruiting realm. Like she was a baby. So it's funny the moment where we like, oh, like Toby's of age to actually recruit her. Like we got to get on this because that's how young she was when we first met her. And we joked that she was like quiet obviously in person, especially because she was so young. But the second you got on the phone to like recruit her, like it would be our longest phone calls were with Toby, this little young girl, Chet's younger sister, who we met so many years ago. Yeah, when you get her going, she gets going.
Okay. We hope to get her going on the Get Stops podcast.
I hope so too.
What's the one question you want to ask Toby Nweke?
Ooh. I want to ask Toby Nweke, does anything rattle her? She is very, like, she's like a stone cold killer. Like, it's hard to make Toby laugh. Toby makes Toby laugh, but she if you like jab at her, like you're like, ooh, like how did she take that? Like, she's very stoic.
Okay.
It's like one of the funniest things about her. So
I guess, where do the similarities end between Chet and Toby?
I would say they're like the way they talk and their mannerisms are very similar, but their personalities are very different. I think it's like a youngest child, middle child difference there. No, yeah, they're super different, but we love them both.
As the youngest in the family, I can tell you that like we are different from the older siblings. Oh, you're also the youngest in your family?
Youngest of brothers too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been a fun experience.
Yeah. I mean, I grew to love it. They grew to hate it, probably. So.
Probably because you just kept beating them in one-on-ones, and they just hated playing basketball against you. And
yeah. I get the fouls called for me from my dad, and like a little bit of the princess treatment.
Oh, yeah. Well, the youngest are always the best.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
Yeah, it is what they say.
We will visit with another member of the Nweke family and the Princeton basketball family when we return in a moment. Lauren Dillon, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for stopping by the Get Stops podcast.
Anytime.
We'll be back with Tigers guard Toby Nweke in just a moment.
Walk a mile in our shoes, from the classroom to the locker room. Here, our promise and our passion propel us down paths few dare to travel. We venture forward, energized with every step. We defy convention in defining ourselves, pushing to achieve, serve, and lead at the highest level. With teammates, teachers, coaches, and classmates at our side. Together, we are Tigers. Together, we are Princeton.
Back on the Get Stops podcast, action-packed episode. Great conversation with assistant coach Lauren Dillon, and now we have guard Toby Nweke. Toby, you are the second Nweke on this podcast. Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, you've got a long-term relationship with Princeton University, in part because of your siblings and the way they were connected to Ivy League athletics. Chet was here. Lauren was telling us about how she was one of the first freshman recruits that this coaching staff had. Can I hear about the first time you came to campus?
Yeah, so the first time that I stepped on campus, I think I was either 9 or 10. And yeah, I was on Chet's official visit her junior year. And yeah, I think that when I stepped on campus, I kind of just like had this strong feeling of just home. So I think that her her recruiting process. Yeah, just seeing like all the schools interested in her, it definitely made the process like her choosing Princeton definitely made it feel like, okay, like this is the place that she's going to be for the next 4 years. But I really had no idea what it was going to be like until I stepped on campus, then met the whole team, met the whole coaching staff. And I was like, wow, this girl is really lucky to go here. Like I genuinely felt honestly a little bit jealous of her. I was like, wow, she gets to go to this amazing place. And yeah.
I guess, when did you have a feeling that you wanted to play basketball at Princeton?
I'd probably say my junior year. I was going through the recruiting process. And at some point I was like, maybe like I don't want to go follow the route of my siblings, like going to an Ivy. Maybe like another school is for me. But I think as I was narrowing down my decisions about like where I was going to go, it was always Princeton in the back of my mind. Like even Chet was telling me, Toby, like you don't have to come to Princeton just because of me. Like you can go wherever you want. But in the back of my head, I always knew I only really cared about Princeton. And I knew that as the AAU season and as the high school seasons were going on, like I was just waiting for the call that I was like going to get offered by Princeton. And when it came, I think I was kind of just like tunnel vision on that.
It's interesting because I remember having Fadima Tall on this podcast, and she was saying something similar about how she felt like she was just waiting for that Princeton offer to come, and when it came, she was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Yeah.
So was that the same? I guess that's the same time frame, roughly.
I think she got hers like the summer before. Oh no, she got her Princeton offer, I think in like June of 2023, and I got mine in October. So we were like 4 months off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you two have played basketball together for a long time.
Yeah.
When did you know Fadima Tall was a good basketball player?
I think as soon as I stepped on campus, like freshman year at Vizzy, she definitely was like a commanding force. Even then, she was only a sophomore, but she was definitely the loudest in the gym. She was always telling people just like where to be. She was just giving great advice. And honestly, she was just like a commanding force. Like everybody knew that when Fadima was talking, like you're just going to listen and adjust to what you're doing.
I mean, I see that too. Right. Like even in the small windows of time where she was on the court in her first year here. And then, when the ball gets rolled out to her a year ago and everyone's like, oh, my God, Fadima Tall is like a really good basketball player. Like she's an all Ivy League caliber player. I'm curious about like your first practice at Princeton. Do you remember the first time you were running here at Jadwin? Like what was your welcome to Princeton college basketball moment?
Yeah, I do remember the first practice. I think it was, the same day as the run test. We had the run test in the morning, and then at like 4:45, we had a practice. And I remember being like still super tired from the run test. And I was like, how am I going to find the legs to go through practice? But then practice came around. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. Like, it just felt like more fast-paced than high school. But I think that me having the advantage of like having Chet with me, I asked her going into it, like, what do I need to do? Like, what do I expect for practice? But she just told me to like calm down. She didn't give me anything to expect. She was like, I'm not going to tell you anything. You just need to calm down. Just go into it with an open mind and just work really hard. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like such good older sibling advice.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm thinking about my relationship with my older brother, and he probably would have said something similar to me. But like, it's amazing how much you sort of mature in age between 18 and 22, which sounds like it did with Chet. What's the best basketball lesson you've learned from your sister?
I think to just take every game as it is. She is like my number one person when it comes to like anything in life. Like I feel like I like talk to her when I'm happy, when I'm sad. And especially after a game, if I feel like I'm struggling to like move on from the game, like I know that when I talk to her, she's gonna just like give me advice that I can just use to just move on. And so I think the best advice that she's given me is to, just leave whatever happened on the basketball floor. Don't let that carry into another aspect of life.
It's fascinating because I'm thinking about the moment about a year ago when
Mhm.
Chet tears her ACL in the first game at Georgetown that she
Mhm.
plays there. Did you sort of have a role reversal in that moment? Like, what were some of your conversations with her like in that week after she was injured?
Yeah, that was definitely a really hard time, I think for our whole family, because we knew like how hard she had worked leading up to that first game and just the season going the way that it did for her. So yeah, when she tore her ACL, I don't remember where I was. I think I was coming back from an away game, I think in Chicago or
Yeah,
something.
because you guys would have played at DePaul that
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah,
Yeah.
we played at DePaul. And then I think we came back, um, I don't remember when we came back, but as soon as we got back to school, or even on the way back to school, I told my parents, like, I need to come home. I need to see if she's okay. Like, I don't care about what I have to do at school. Like, I just need to come home and see her. And yeah, during that time, we didn't really talk that much because obviously, like, she didn't really have anything to say. She was just in shock. But I think just the biggest thing that I made sure to tell her was just, I'm going to be here for you. Like, whatever you need. If you need to talk, if you need to cry, like, whatever you need, I'm going to be here for you. And so, like, it felt like I was kind of taking on that older sister role for her. But yeah, she's my best friend. Like, I couldn't have imagined, like, what she was going through.
Ugh. Yeah, and I was also sort of personally hurt by that because of what we watched in her 4 years at Princeton, the way she got better and better year over year, and
Yeah.
then forcing her way into the starting lineup as a senior. Um, I understand you had a pretty cool basketball experience over the summer.
Mhm.
Got to play a little bit with the Nigerian national team.
Yeah.
What was that
I did.
experience like? Where'd you play?
It was great. I played in Brno, Czech Republic. It's kind of a rural town, but being in that whole like FIBA bubble, it was just a great opportunity. I kind of joke with my family that it was like a little Olympics because like we all 12 teams stayed in the same hotel.
Oh wow.
So you were on the same floor as like people from different countries and like you got to make new friends and stuff. And just the playing atmosphere, it was very different than college basketball here because like the FIBA rules. So for example, like you only have 2 timeouts per half, and if a team doesn't call a timeout, you're just playing. Like you're playing and playing and
Yeah,
playing.
there's no like
Like
media time.
there's no media. You just keep going. And so that was very different. Like I remember I played against Portugal or something, and neither of the coaches called a timeout. So we just played the first quarter just straight, like no stopping.
10 minutes, no stoppage.
10 minutes, no stoppage. So yeah, it was crazy.
What's the biggest takeaway you feel like? How did you get to be a better basketball player playing in that experience that you've carried to this season?
I think just the whole confidence aspect. I feel like in the Czech Republic, I was able to gain a lot of confidence just by playing against like some of the best talent in the world. And I think that that's what I carried on to Princeton, just like being confident in the hard work that I've put in, being confident in my shot, being confident in my like playmaking abilities, just being able to do that just even at a higher level at Princeton. So, yeah.
And, this season has a pretty cool moment playing at Maryland.
Hmm.
How many people did you have in the crowd?
I couldn't even tell you. There were so many people from like my high school basketball coaches and my high school basketball team to my third grade elementary school teacher. Yeah, she was there. My principal from elementary school and middle school was there, and some of my high school teachers were there. And
So do you feel confident saying you had more teachers that taught you growing up at the game than Fadima had?
yeah, I think so.
But did you guys have classes together growing up?
No, I don't think Fadima and I had a single class together or in our 3 years together.
I mean, I guess basketball is considered a class
Yeah.
in the long run.
Yeah.
And like as I think about this time of year, when you get to the end of a calendar year, I'm always thinking about best moments that I've had in 2025.
Hmm.
Best basketball experience you had in 2025. What is it and why?
I would probably say the best basketball moment was going to the NCAA tournament. I think that during that time, like, we were just so happy to even be, like, even for the play-in game, like, we were just so excited for that opportunity. And I think that that whole experience just, like, fueled us for this year. And I think that a turning point for this season was definitely just the Maryland game, because I think that as a team, we knew that we can just compete with any team if we just really work at it and, like, really put together all 4 quarters. And so, yeah, just being able to be at March Madness and just always know that that's the goal. Not only be at March Madness, but, like, win a game. And so, yeah, I think that that's something that was super cool for me. And also being able to play in that atmosphere was amazing.
Okay, best class you have taken in 2025. So this would be the spring semester and this fall.
Best class that I've taken would probably be social psychology. Yeah, I'm a psych major, and I think that that was, like, the most interesting class that I've taken at Princeton, just, like, seeing how people interact with each other, seeing why people act the way that they do. It's just really interesting, and yeah, enjoyed it.
Is there some way you can take psychology lessons onto the basketball court? Like, have you used some of the lessons you've learned in that class or in other psychology classes to get to know teammates better or
Yeah.
be about?
Yeah, I definitely think that, social psych did help me a lot. Just, like, to be able to know how to talk to every person. I think that everybody is, like, super unique, and you need to know, like, okay, some people, like, you have to approach them this way or you have to do it that way. And so, yeah, I think just being able to not treat everybody the same, because nobody's the same, and just finding that perfect medium.
This feels like a really tight group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's only 11 on the roster, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like an us versus them mentality. There's only so many of us. If you were stranded on a desert island, which teammate would you want to be there for survival? Who's going to help you get off the island?
I think that I would choose Sarah. Sarah just is amazing at everything. Like, she just knows about so much. Like, I think I would trust her because she's just crafty. Like, she knows what to do. She always has an idea. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Who is the teammate that is going to keep you entertained?
Fadima, for sure. Fadima, like, our humor is exactly the same, and nobody ever gets our, like, niche, like, references online. But, like, I know that if I need a laugh, like, it's gonna be Fadima.
Okay.
Yeah.
All 11 players on the team are building a gingerbread house in competition with each other. Who's building the best gingerbread house?
I would say Emily. Like, she's like really into that, like, cooking stuff, and yeah, I know that she'll do a good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that Adora's not here, who's got the aux?
Who has the aux? So it changes. Like, usually in the locker room, we just, like, somebody will just come up and, like, bring their phone, and then, you know, if somebody gets upset with the music choice, then somebody else will have to unplug the phone and then put theirs in. But I think as of now, Liv has the aux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's always great to visit on the Get Stops podcast. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all for this week's episode of the Get Stops podcast. Our thanks to Lauren Dillon and Toby Nweke for stopping by. As always, you can listen to the latest podcasts from the Princeton Tigers at goprincetontigers.com/podcasts.